Donald Trump's return to the White House for a second term has been marked by significant upheaval. He promised to drain the swamp and bring sweeping changes to the federal government. His administration has followed through on these promises with major restructuring efforts. These changes have not come without controversy. Critics argue that these moves are undermining essential government functions and putting the country at risk. One of the most controversial aspects of Trump's second term has been the implementation of drastic cuts to the federal government. These cuts have sparked widespread debate and concern among various sectors of society. These cuts have targeted various agencies and programs, leading to widespread layoffs and reduced services. Many communities are feeling the impact, with essential services being scaled back or eliminated entirely. The administration argues that these cuts are necessary to reduce government spending and streamline operations. They claim that a leaner government will be more efficient and less wasteful. However, opponents claim that these cuts are politically motivated and will have devastating consequences for ordinary Americans. Critics argue that the most vulnerable populations will suffer the most. The legality of these cuts is also being challenged in court. Legal experts are scrutinizing the administration's actions to determine if they overstepped their bounds. Several lawsuits have been filed alleging that the administration overstepped its authority in implementing these cuts. These cases are being closely watched by both supporters and detractors. These legal battles are ongoing and could have significant implications for the future of the Trump administration's agenda. The outcomes could set important precedents for executive power. The outcome of these cases will likely depend on how the courts interpret the president's executive power. The decisions made could shape the landscape of American governance for years to come. Adding fuel to the fire is the newly created Department of Government Efficiency, headed by tech mogul Elon Musk. This department, often referred to by its acronym DOGE, has been a lightning rod for controversy since its inception. Tasked with optimizing government operations, DOGE has taken an aggressive approach, often clashing with established agencies. Their methods have been described as unorthodox and even disruptive by some critics. One notable incident involved DOGE's visit to the FAA's Air Traffic Control Command Center in Virginia. This visit was part of a broader initiative to streamline air traffic control operations. After firing several hundred employees, Musk's team toured the facility, raising concerns about their understanding of the complex air traffic control system. The move was seen as a drastic measure that could potentially compromise safety. Musk has also raised eyebrows by questioning the status of U.S. gold reserves at Fort Knox. His inquiries have led to speculation about the transparency and security of the nation's gold holdings. He has suggested a potential inspection, even hinting at live streaming it, which has been met with skepticism from experts who cite security concerns. The idea of live streaming such a sensitive inspection has been particularly controversial. These actions, coupled with DOGE's persistent requests for access to sensitive data from various departments, have fueled accusations of overreach and a disregard for established protocols. Critics argue that DOGE's approach undermines the stability and integrity of governmental operations. Section 4. Impact of USAID shutdown. The shutdown of the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, has been another controversial decision of the Trump administration. This move has drawn criticism from humanitarian organizations worldwide who argue that it will have dire consequences for people in developing countries who rely on USAID's assistance. The shutdown has also had a direct impact on USAID employees, many of whom have been furloughed. One worker filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration, alleging that the agency's shutdown endangered his pregnant wife's life. He claims that the lack of funding prevented her from receiving a medically necessary evacuation. This case highlights the human cost of the administration's budget cuts and the difficult choices faced by those affected. Section 5. U.S.-Russia talks and global concerns. As the Trump administration continues to make waves domestically, with policies that have sparked both support and controversy, the international stage presents its own set of challenges, demanding careful navigation and strategic diplomacy. U.S. and Russian officials are currently engaged in high-stakes talks in Saudi Arabia to discuss the ongoing war in Ukraine, a conflict that has drawn global attention. Notably absent from these talks is Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, whose presence many believe is crucial for a comprehensive dialogue. This absence raises concerns that Ukraine's interests may not be adequately represented, potentially sidelining key issues. Adding to the tension, European officials are holding a separate emergency meeting in Paris to discuss the situation, highlighting the urgency and gravity of the matter. The absence of a unified front between the US and its European allies further complicates the already delicate diplomatic situation, making consensus even harder to achieve. The outcome of these talks remains uncertain, with time running out and stakes higher than ever. The stakes are high, with the potential for significant ramifications for global security and stability, affecting nations far beyond the immediate conflict.